Welcome back to The Wandering Screen. I'm Matt Koss, and today I'm looking at Twisters, the Glen Powell starring film that loses sight of what made the 1996 film so special. The original Twister movie made me want to become a storm chaser. To this day, I still watch the film absolutely mesmerized by the practical effects that still hold up well today, and the performances of Helen and Bill Paxton, which add so much weight to the story. Of course, the plausibility of surviving an F5 tornado by strapping into a leather harness was ridiculous, but it was the characters that brought the world to life. Helen Hunt's Joe is a hard-edged, traumatized scientist with every intention of creating a product that can read the direction of a tornado and therefore gives towns earlier warning to get to safety before a tornado strikes. It's what she didn't have as a young girl and possibly why her father was killed. This motivation streams throughout the film when Bill Paxton's character is introduced as her soon-to-be ex-husband, who knows her better than anyone. He knows that Joe's legacy won't bring her father back, but he can't stop her almost manic desperation to witness the swirling funnel eating everything in its path. The tornado was the villain, the ultimate natural enemy. And I wanted Dorothy to fly to prove Joe was right, particularly after her Aunt Meg is caught in a tornado with little to no warning. When it came down to it, Twister was about character in the world of storm chasing, whereas the new film Twisters by Isaac Chung, who wrote and directed the semi-autobiographical film Minari, is a romance film all the way down to a love triangle between the three leads. It's about a meteorologist who, after a devastating tornado chase with her team of university students experimenting a method to stop a tornado in its tracks, is persuaded to get back into the field to help a land developer take advantage of families who have lost their homes to the natural disaster. Now, this is not a sequel, this is a legacy film, which I've learned is a film poster with the same font as the original, but a different younger cast. We're placed into the world of the original purely through the appearance of Dorothy, which isn't the most spectacular cameo given its rusted state, and gives the impression that the studio is saying out with the old and in with the new. Daisy Edgar-Jones from Hulu's Normal People plays Kate Cooper, who loses her boyfriend Daryl McCormack and two classmates to a traumatic tornado reversing experiment gone wrong. And 5 years later, and working in a corporate environment watching tornadoes on a computer screen, she's lured back into a tornado chasing by her former colleague Harvey, Anthony Ramos, who was a part of the experiment 5 years prior, but the two of them lost touch in the aftermath. Beyond his crush on Kate, he wants her to help him scan tornadoes to detect their trajectories for the land developer. Of course, she doesn't take much convincing outside of her survivor's guilt of looking sullenly in the mirror, and travels to Oklahoma for a once-in-a-generation climate event that will see a large number of tornadoes touch down in Tornado Alley. But they're not the only ones on the road. Glen Powell plays Tyler Owens, a YouTube star and self-proclaimed tornado wrangler with a degree in meteorology who rides into tornadoes with his entourage and shoots footage of doing outrageous stunts inside a tornado like setting off fireworks. Writer Mark L. Smith, who wrote The Midnight Sky and The Revenant, based the screenplay off a story by Joseph Kosinski, who is the mastermind director behind Top Gun Maverick. And Twisters will make you wish that Kosinski had written the screenplay. Kate's impetus for getting back into storm chasing is thinly conceived, and I can't say I trusted her instincts, which may be due to Daisy's flat performance. Maybe it's the underwritten role, but I just didn't find her convincing. What's most wild about Twisters is its reluctance to mention how global warming has impacted storms across the globe and how this once-in-a-generation period of frequent tornadoes is a product of that phenomenon. Kate's failed experiment that killed her friends was about stopping tornadoes before they can cause devastation, placing barrels of chemicals in the tornado's path and reversing the moisture and the winds causing the funnels. However, could this be considered biological warfare? Like, what are in these chemicals being put in the air, and how do they affect humans? The science is superficially interwoven through expositional scenes, but neglects the changing world and natural weather patterns to the point where the film loses credibility. Isaac Chung doesn't really give the impression of an action filmmaker with his previous award-winning Minari. He does try to keep things grounded in conversational moments, but he stages action sequences in too many close-ups of moving vehicles that it's hard to follow what's happening. The editing of some of the car maneuvers swirling around the muddy fields are chopped into pieces, throwing you into the back of the car to out the front and in a turn. He doesn't allow you to watch the action, but instead it's almost like he's forcing it. Perhaps Chung's greatest sin, though, is the incorporation of Benjamin Wallwish's heavy, overwrought score that drowns the action sequences in exhausting compositions that betray what's going on screen. It's mind-boggling that in a weather event like a tornado where homes are being ripped apart, debris is flying across the landscape, and the cars are roaring across open fields, that there is such a reliance on the score to exacerbate the tension. In fact, it did the complete opposite for me. The way that the film also handles grief is a missed opportunity and takes away what made the first film so special. Helen Hunt's character, 30 years past her father's death, is still trying to see that monster that took him. She crawls out from beneath an overpass to get a glimpse of the beast as Bill pulls her back. She rushes through hailstorms to pick up Dorothy's fallen pieces as the threat of a tornado touching down resounds from Bill trying to keep Joe safe. In Twisters, Kate is muted and not very interesting, and the motivation is there with the loss of her friends and boyfriend, but the writing isn't strong enough for her character to bring about that emotional contract with the audience. Kate's grief is treated as a means to an end, to separate Kate from the Oklahoma tornado alley, pull her into a sterile corporate environment with a blazer, and whisk her back into the action for a project she has no intention of researching. And the strength of Twisters, though, is actually in Tyler's team, which gives the impression of a family similar to the chasing team in the original film. Pereira's southern drawl and eagerness of a cowboy chasing thrills runs alongside Sasha Lane's Lily, a tech whiz with a drone who hands out free food to survivors. This is the team we should have been with from the beginning, and who unfortunately we lose halfway through the film as Twisters delves into its romantic comedy desires that sees Tyler and Kate work on a project for 2 days without any appearance from either of their teams. The resounding question I had at the end of this film was, why did Twister need to become a franchise? Couldn't we have had a tornado film without being in the same world, or are we doomed with the lack of ingenuity from the studios to conceive of a film beyond existing IP? This is not the film of the summer.
On YouTube, say something.
Blow me, Boone.
Don't engage.
Hey, smile, man. Science is fun, right?
What's up, Boone?
Who are they?
Chasers out of Arkansas.
Hillbillies with a YouTube channel.
Hey, T, tell the folks how you feeling.
I'm feeling pretty good, Boone. And if you feel it, I said if you feel it, oh, it's a beautiful day. Beautiful day.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Wandering Screen with Matt Koss, for all the latest reviews, and please let me know in the comments section below what you thought of the film. Do you think it stacks up against the original? See you next time.